Why I'm ditching After Effects. After Effects sucks. Well, to be fair, it's just really bad at what I need it for. Like, really bad. That's a shame because I really like a lot of things about it. After Effects is an insanely powerful program, and it's pretty easy to create and configure motion graphics templates and use them in programs like Adobe Premiere. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into what's good and bad about After Effects, and why I got so frustrated with it I had to kick it to the curb and create my own system to replace the bad parts. If you don't know, I'm the founder of Emurse, a platform for learning languages. Anyway, back to After Effects. It's a snap to add expressions and variables to your composition and have fine-grained programmatic control over everything. As a programmer, I found this to be very intuitive and easy to use. The main limitation is that everything in After Effects is pixel-based, meaning if you wanted to create a responsive graphics template, you need to do all the math yourself. For me, this isn't a complete deal breaker, but I don't think animators should have to resort to low-level computer graphics programming to produce a simple graphics template. There's absolutely no reason for it. Let me explain. In modern web and application development, we use fluid layouts to do this. Fluid layouts automatically resize text and graphics and reflow your content so it looks good in different orientations and display sizes. The concept of fluid layouts have existed in one form or another since the 1980s. And if you've ever changed your phone's orientation and seen the application resize and reflow itself before your eyes, that's what I'm talking about. It's really an essential toolkit in any modern graphic designer or application developer's toolbox. Now, Figma has done a really good job with this. And believe it or not, the first time I used Figma was today, in this very video. So let's take a look at my fluid layout. And it actually took me less than a minute to create this. So kudos to the Figma team on that one. Anyway, here's the document. I wanted to create a simple motion graphics template to show the Emurse logo and text along the screen with some subtitles. In Figma, all I have to do with it is this. Drag out a frame onto my composition, pop in an image, then put my text in here. And you can see this is one line here, but if I wanted to make it 2 lines, all I need to do is this. Now let's look at how the same thing is done in After Effects. Just look how much stuff is in the document. As you can see, there's so many things you have to configure here. And not only that, it took a while to figure out what properties to use and where everything needed to go. Now, if I wanted to replicate this in Emurse, it's actually really easy. The code looks something like this. And for clarification, I'm talking about the code we use to build Emurse. It's a 3-element layout, just like Figma. This brings me to the end of my first point. After Effects does not support fluid layouts, and this is a major limitation. If you wanted to build videos targeting different video sizes or orientations, you're kind of out of luck unless you want to do a whole lot of math. And this is, a pretty common use case today for somebody that wants to deliver both shorts and landscape format videos on YouTube or TikTok. Yeah, and so this is really the least of my problems with After Effects, believe it or not. You see, After Effects is a hog, a really big resources hog. Every time I start After Effects, I'm greeted with this screen. I've got 16 gigabytes of RAM! 16 gigabytes! I remember using a Pentium 90 and 16 megs of RAM to create complex animations with Flash back in the 1990s. And before you tell me that this isn't a high enough end computer to render video and author animations, I'm using the same setup in Adobe Premiere to create 4K videos actually, and it works fine as long as I'm running it with my GPU enabled. This screen right here should have been a big red flag. It's really fast to render this type of screen in the browser, and doing the same thing in After Effects should have been even faster. That's not the case. All my After Effects gripes up to this point have been livable annoyances, but the next issue turned out to be the death knell. The lid on the casket, the final shovel of dirt, the estate sale, and the ghost of Flash living rent-free in my brain. Here's the thing. All I wanted to do is create some animated captions. There's like a million free ways to do this, so that should be easy in After Effects, right? No. I spent a couple of weeks deep diving into the bowels of Adobe's ExtendScript cruft and painstakingly working on my animated caption system. It was taking longer than expected, but I soldiered on. I needed an easy way to animate my vocabulary and transcripts from Emurse and use them for my YouTube videos. ExtendScript was lacking basic functionality like flowing text and parsing data files. I needed to write all this stuff by hand. Finally, though, I was seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. My sample file was rendering perfectly and it looked great. I ran my captions generator on a 3-minute short and it zipped along for the first 10 seconds and then it slowed to a crawl. I thought this would take a while, so I went downstairs and fixed myself a sandwich and grabbed a cup of coffee. When I came back, After Effects was still processing my captions. And after a few more minutes of waiting, it ended up taking just over 20 minutes. Yeah, video with lots of complicated effects can take a while to render. I totally get it. But this is not that. All I'm trying to do is render some captions. It's not complicated. Furthermore, I was just trying to create the composition to bring into my video. I wasn't even rendering anything. Long story short, I spent another week or so digging into posts on Adobe forums and making optimizations to my code. I had huge performance gains, about a 40% improvement. That's great until you realize this thing is still taking 12 minutes for animated captions. We were doing this stuff in Flash back in the day, and it was fast. By this point, I really had nothing left to lose. I'll just build my own damn video renderer. As they say, YOLO. So I got to work installing the Media Bunny library and created a simple test animation and rendered it out to a H.264 encoded MP4. Now, at this point, I'm only about 10 minutes into the project, but things were going smoothly. With the help of Claude, I quickly ported my After Effects code to TypeScript so I could run it in Emurse. And this is the result. The same 3-minute long transcript took just over 30 seconds to render at 1080p. Now at this point, you might be wondering why I would go through all this trouble. So with Emurse, our goal is to make it easy for teachers to make great instructional content. Video needs to be a part of that. And I want editing to be more like editing a script in a word processor than using a linear video editor. Check out this short clip I did for the Emurse English channel. The captions were edited in Emurse. Jenny is local slang for Genesee beer. It actually started with an advertising campaign from Genesee beer back in the 1950s. And one really cool part about this is all the edits I made in Emurse can be brought into interactive video lessons. What even are video lessons? It's the newest way to learn with Emurse. Fully interactive videos with overlays, exercises, and a smart captions panel. It's the ultimate way to deliver language content, whether your focus is on grammar, phonetics, or comprehensible input. It's the newest way to learn with Emurse. For learners, this is really going to bridge the gap between self-study drills and long-form video content. I've been using it a bit with my videos on the Emurse English channel, and it's really cool. I'm super excited about it. Besides the captions renderer, there's also an annotations renderer, and this is what I've been using to put images into my comprehensible English videos. For me, dragging the images onto lines or words in the script is much faster and makes more sense than doing that in a linear video editor. That brings me to the next thing I want to talk about, and how I see this tool evolving in the future. Right now, we're creating video overlays that you can bring into any video editing software and put them in the timeline. I'd like simple edits to be done in Emurse, and we want to do more with overlays. So, for example, being able to utilize your existing Emurse cards and exercises and videos is something we're definitely going to be doing, and that will be coming soon. I've also been using a site called SVG8er to create animations in Emurse. It's a great tool for 2D animation, and it reminds me a lot of Flash. You can export those files to a format called Lottie, and Lottie is a JSON-based format, and it's widely supported in many applications. We're going to be adding Lottie support to Emurse in the next couple of weeks. And what this will allow you to do is easily add enter and leave animations to vocabulary and phrases that appear on the screen. You could also use it for more complex templates. I think we'll call them yogurts, as in YOLO graphics templates. And I just want to mention that if you're a glutton for punishment, you can even use After Effects to create Lottie files. But I like SVGator, so I definitely recommend you check that one out. And I actually reached out to them to tell them what I was doing with their tools and talked about a potential integration with Emurse. They've got some really cool stuff coming. And while they're not sponsoring this video, they offered a discount code. So once I get that code, I will put that in the description. Thanks for sticking around and listening to my rant. And if you've got Adobe or After Effects horror stories, let's chat about it in the comments. And if you think I'm wrong, tell me why. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.